Today we are going to discuss topic foreign exchange from microeconomics covered under unit 5 balance of payment. In this topic we are going to discuss foreign exchange rate, meaning of fixed and flexible rates and managed floating. And it also covers determination of exchange rate in a free market. The entire unit 5 is allocated 6 marks for CBSE board examination. So let's start the chapter. So we start from exchange rate. I hope you must be familiar to this word. You must be know about the dollar, pounds and many other currencies in the world. Each country has its own currency, Indian currency known as Indian rupee, as we know. Indian rupee for India is a domestic currency. It is acceptable. It is generally acceptable in exchange of goods and services within the country or India. Dollar, pounds, yen, and any other currency may not be accepted in India for the same purpose. All other currencies other than Indian rupee known as foreign currency, or in simple terms, all currencies other than domestic currency known as foreign currency. In India, other than Indian rupee are treated as foreign exchange. It also named as forex. In this chapter, we use frequently we use forex in place of foreign exchange frequently. So we can establish a standardized definition of foreign exchange, which is foreign exchange refers to all the currencies of the rest of the world other than the domestic currency of the country. For example, in India, US dollar is the foreign exchange. So we move to foreign exchange rate. For this, we can take an example. Suppose you want to go USA or you go to USA. Will you able to buy goods and services from Indian rupee? The answer is no. We cannot purchase goods and services in USA from our domestic currency. So we required the USA. We required the USA currency, which is dollar, or we have to exchange our currency to get the USDs, US dollars, to get US dollars. The rate at which you purchase US dollars from market and bank, it is called as foreign exchange rate, or the rate at which one currency is exchanged for another is called foreign exchange rate. In other words, the foreign exchange rate is the price of one currency stated in terms of another currency. Or we can, as we can see in the picture, 1 USD, suppose 1 USD is rupee 60. So value of 1 USD in terms of Indian rupee is rupee 60 or 60. We can exchange 1 USD for 60 rupee, or we can find out the value of 1 rupee in terms of USD also. So the value of 1 rupee in USD is 1 upon 60, 0.0166. So this is the foreign exchange rate. Now we move to foreign exchange market. This is the simple one. Foreign exchange market is a market where national currencies are converted or exchanged. Simply, this is the meaning of foreign exchange market. So our next topic is depreciation of currency. For understanding the depreciation, we have to take in take a domestic currency or an foreign currency. For this, we take domestic currency as Indian rupee and foreign currency as USD, United Nations dollars. So currency depreciation refers to decrease in value of domestic currency in terms of foreign currency. It means the value of rupees is depreciated in terms of USD. It makes domestic currency less valuable. It makes domestic currency less valuable. Means the value of domestic currency, in our case it is rupee, is decreased and more of it is required to buy the foreign currency. If the value of domestic currency is decreased, so more amount of currency required to purchase foreign exchange. So we can take an example also. Rupee is said to be depreciated or depreciating if foreign exchange rate of rupee 1 USD rises from rupees 70 to rupees 75, as you've seen in the picture. It means if the exchange rate is increased from 70 to 75, or the exchange rate of 1 USD increase from rupees 70 to 75, it means it leads to depreciate the domestic currency. Or we should note that the increase in rate of exchange of foreign exchange will lead to depreciation of domestic currency. So we can find out this relationship with, from this concept. So after discussing the currency depreciation, we move to impact of currency depreciation. So the depreciation of currency will affect the entire economy, but we have to discuss only importer and exporters aspect of currency depreciation. So we start from exporters end. So what will be the impact over the exports of a country? So you can see in the picture, the exporters have benefited from depreciation. So how they are benefited, we are going to discuss. It make depreciation makes domestic currency cheaper in foreign country, as more of such goods can now be purchased with the same amount of foreign currency. So before depreciation, American citizen, as we take an example of USD, were buying rupees 70 valued goods and services in the exchange of 1 USD. But after depreciation of domestic currency or Indian rupee, they will able to get rupees 75 valued goods and services from the same 1 USD. So it leads to increase the exports of India. It simply benefits the export of a country as the value decreases and the foreign citizen will purchase more valued goods and services from the from the from the country. So we discussed the importer side. On the other side, the importer are facing the burden of debt. As you can see in picture, the importer bears the burden of debt, as depreciation means that more Indian currency is needed to purchase imports. Import become more expensive. By this, exports are cheaper, so export rises and imports become more expensive. It leads to decrease in imports. So importers are not in position to import much amount of goods and services, but exporter in position to export more goods and services and earning more profit, as you see as you see in the picture. So after currency appreciation, we moves to currency depreciation, we moves to currency appreciation. So currency, here we take the same example of USD and Indian rupee. Indian rupee is domestic currency and USD is foreign currency. Currency appreciation refers to increase in the value of domestic currency in terms of foreign currency. It means the value of domestic currency, Indian currency, increased this time in terms of foreign currency. It makes currency more valuable. In depreciation, the domestic currency is less valuable. In appreciation, the domestic currency is more valuable and less of it is required to buy the foreign currency. In depreciation, we required more currency to buy foreign currency, but appreciation, we required less currency to buy foreign currency. we see the example in the given picture. Rupee is said to be appreciated if foreign exchange rate of 1 USD fall from rupees 75 to 70. So by this concept, we can find out an important point, that decrease in rate of exchange of foreign exchange will leads to appreciation of domestic currency. In depreciation, the foreign exchange rate will increase, so it leads to depreciation. In this case, foreign exchange rate is decreased from rupees 75 to 70, and it leads to appreciation of domestic currency. So we have to remember this relationship for solving various questions of this chapter. So after appreciation, we move to impact of appreciation over the exports and import. So at this time, we take importers first, or imports of a country first. So the impact of appreciation is just opposite to depreciation. So we starts from imports or appreciation. Appreciation makes foreign goods cheaper in domestic country, as more of such good can be purchased with the same amount of domestic currency. So we can take an example for that. Before appreciation of before appreciation, American citizens were buying rupees 75 valued goods and services in exchange of 1 USD. But after appreciation of Indian currency or Indian rupee, they will get only rupees 70 valued goods and services from the same 1 USD. So it leads to increase in imports of India. On other hand, we can take the exporter part also. Appreciation of home currency will causes relative increase in the price of domestic goods, or the for goods for the foreigners. Thus, consequently, the demand would decrease as law of demand applicable, and hence export will decrease. It simply means both are move in opposite direction, and the impact is also vice versa. In depreciation, exporters are benefited and importers are in loss. But in appreciation, which is opposite of depreciation, importers get benefited and exporter gets loss in their respective fields. So this is all about appreciation or depreciation. But we can find a relationship between foreign exchange rate and appreciation or depreciation by this picture. The given picture is showing the relationship between the currency depreciation, appreciation, and rate of exchange. The first relationship is the if rate of exchange is increased, as we see in exchange rate in the picture, and the increased side of exchange rates shows the depreciation. If rate of exchange increase, it will leads to depreciation of domestic currency. Simply you can see that if 1 USD is rupees 70 and it increased to 1 USD 7 to rupees 75, leads to it leads to depreciation of domestic currency, as you see in the picture. And the opposite side, if the exchange rate decrease from 1 USD rupees 75 to 1 USD to rupees 70, it means the rate of exchange depreciate from rupees 75 to 70, it will lead to appreciation of domestic currency. So simply we can find out this relationship. By this, we can establish a relationship between rate of exchange and depreciation or appreciation of domestic currency. We can find out the appreciation and depreciation of domestic currency with the help of change in rate of exchange. By this picture, we can easily trace out the impact of appreciation depreciation with the help of exchange rate. So we move to next topic, depreciation and devaluation. We also have a term devaluation like depreciation, but it is quite different from depreciation. Let's discuss the difference. So devaluation occurs when a country purposefully lowers the value of its currency as it applies to its exchange rate with currency from other countries around the world. मतलब it means intentionally a country will depreciate its value of its value of its domestic currency. It is devaluation. On the other hand, depreciation means depreciation decline in the value of currency based on market factor like supply and demand. The market forces, the demand and supply of foreign exchange will decide the rate of exchange, or or if there is decline in the value of domestic currency by these market forces is known as depreciation. On the other hand, devaluation, the central bank or the government of a country will intentionally, purposefully decline the value of its own currency. So this is about devaluation or depreciation. Now we reach two types of exchange rate. In our curriculum, we have three types of exchange rates. So we discuss one by one. First is fixed exchange rate system. As you can see in the picture, fixed exchange rate system, a system in which the government tries to peg the value of its currency to another currency. It means government is fixed the value of its currency to another currency. This is fixed exchange rate. Currently, this is practicing by government of China in present time. They fix their currency exchange rate with other world currencies. So this is about the fixed exchange rate. So we move to second. Second is flexible exchange rate or floating exchange rate system. The system of exchange rate in which value of a currency is allowed to float freely as determined by demand for and supply of a foreign exchange is called flexible exchange rate system. It means when the market forces demand and supply of foreign exchange will decide the foreign exchange rate of a currency is known as flexible exchange rate system. And we have third type of system, which is the combination of first and second, fixed and flexible, managed floating rate system. It refers to a system in which foreign exchange is determined by free market forces, demand and supply forces, which can be influenced by the intervention of central bank in foreign exchange market. So this system, as we stated earlier, this system consists of the features of both flexible or fixed system, or as we can see in the picture, there is free market forces in the forex market or forex exchange market, but central bank may influence this market or intervene in this market by its foreign exchange reserve at the time of requirement, or the central bank decide when it have to interfere in the market on requirement. So this is about managed floating rate system. So we move to next section of this chapter. So here we are able to answer the question why we demand foreign exchange or sources of demand of foreign exchange. So first we have import of goods and services. We require foreign exchange for importing goods and services from rest of the world because all of the countries are not accepting our domestic currency for international trade. So there is requirement of some foreign currency for international trade. So we require some foreign currency for exporting goods and services. As we know, we are a big importer of crude oil in world. We have to pay the bill of our imports in USD. Second, we required foreign exchange for tourist or tourism. If our citizens are visiting various countries of the world, they required the foreign exchange for their visit or for their purchase of goods and services in the respective country. So these are the two sources. So move to third source. Third is unilateral transfer sent abroad. The Indian resident transfer money abroad to their relative. If our Indian citizens are willing to send their money in form of gift and grants to their relatives settled abroad, so he or she will require foreign exchange to send them. For this, we have various uh, channels to we have various channels for these types of transaction. For purchase of foreign assets in foreign country, if we wants to purchase some foreign asset in some foreign country, or our Indian companies are willing to invest in foreign countries, we require foreign exchange for that purpose. So we demand foreign exchange for this purpose. So the fifth is repayment of loan to foreigners. Or our government and citizens generally accept loans from foreign countries and citizens. So for repaying these types of loans, foreign loans, we require foreign exchange, because the loan amount is given in foreign exchange. So we have to repay the amount in foreign exchange. And six, after fifth, we move to six. Six is most important and interesting. It is speculation demand. So you can see the picture and you can know about the speculation, or people wants to make gain from appreciation of currency. It means it is government, sorry, peoples are willing to purchase foreign currency and sell in future and make gains from this currency. So they demand foreign exchange rate. So after the sources of foreign exchange and the demand of foreign exchange, we move to next step. We are constructing the demand curve for the foreign exchange. So as you see the curve, demand curve of foreign exchange downward due to inverse relationship between demand of foreign exchange and foreign exchange rate. On y-axis we have foreign exchange rate, a rate of exchange ROE, and x-axis we have demand of foreign exchange rate in dollars. So we can see that on 70 rupees 70, if the rate of exchange of 1 USD is rupees 70, so Indian citizens we demand 500 units of dollars in an example. If the rate is increased by 5 rupees, it goes to rupees $75. The demand of foreign exchange will decrease from 500 to 100. This shows the inverse relationship between foreign exchange rate and the demand of foreign exchange. It means, or it is same slope like demand curve of a normal commodity like a smartphone. So this is easily coordinate or the your concept to law of demand. It means inverse relationship between forex rate, foreign exchange rate and demand. Or we can see in the schedule, foreign exchange is 70, the demand of foreign exchange is 500. So less exchange rate and more demand. If the 70 rate is increased to 75, the demand of foreign exchange is goes decreased to 100. More exchange rate, less demand. So this is all about the demand curve of foreign exchange. So as we're discussing the market forces which decide the foreign exchange rate, so after completing demand for foreign exchange, we move to supply of foreign exchange. Or or the sources from we supply the foreign exchange in our country. The first is exports of goods and services. These are the opposite of these sources are the opposite direction of sources of demand. In demand, we have to pay the import bill, so we demand foreign exchange. In case of supply, we do exports of goods and services to rest of the world. So it generate a supply of foreign exchange in our country. We get the foreign exchange from our exports of goods and services. Second is the second expenditure done by tourists. Our citizens moves to other country for tourism purpose. They spend the amount in the foreign currency. So the when the tourist of rest of the world are come to our country and make their expenditure in our country, so we get the supply of foreign exchange in our country. So we move to three. Three is remittances or unilateral transfer from abroad by non-residential Indian. Many Indians are, as we know, or as you can see in the picture, many citizens or non-residential Indians are residing in the various countries of the world. They are sending the foreign exchange to their families, which are a major part of our supply of foreign exchange. Fourth is loan from rest of the world. We can get loan from the foreign countries or international agencies in domestic foreign currencies. It also make our supply of foreign exchange. So we move to fifth, foreign investment. As we know, foreign investment is company and individual from one nation invest in asset and ownership stakes of a company based in another nation. It means some other individual will invest in other countries in form of foreign exchange. So it also has a supply of foreign exchange in a particular country. For example, foreign direct investment. The American companies, we can example of Best Price. Best Price is a Walmart company, is a subsidiary of Walmart company which is situated in USA, which invested in India. The investment done by these type of countries or companies comes in foreign exchange. It becoming a part of our foreign exchange supply. And we come to sixth source. It is speculation this time. So speculation is also creates the supply of foreign exchange. If the individual will buy the currency and after make for making profit, and for for next time he is selling his foreign exchange for making profit. By selling, it creates the supply of foreign exchange. By selling, it creates supply of foreign exchange in our country. So these are the supplies. So speculation supply of foreign exchange comes from there who wants to speculate in the value of foreign exchange. So we move to supply curve. So as O x axis we have supply of foreign exchange, of O y we have rate of exchange. As we interpreted, supply curve of foreign exchange slopes downward due to direct relationship between demand of foreign exchange and foreign exchange rate. It simply shows a direct relationship between rate of foreign exchange and supply of foreign exchange. It means when the rate of exchange is increased from 70 to 75, the supply of foreign exchange is increased from 100 unit to 200. Or it also has same slope like supply curve of normal commodity like food. We can take up the schedule foreign exchange rate 70, supply of foreign exchange 100. Less exchange rate, less supply. When it goes to 75, the supply of foreign exchange goes to 200 units. More exchange rate, more supply. So we understand about the demand of foreign exchange and supply of foreign exchange. They are both are working like the demand of a normal or general commodity. So the demand and supply of foreign exchange will determine the rate of exchange, or we can see the given picture where demand and supply are known as market forces